Hello and welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Mads Mikkelsen, Joe Darke. My brother fought Darke and was killed. That was the first time Darke left behind any evidence. That's all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least, according to public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Darke. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it. And that's your reason for your insane actions? There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. How's the last day of the SL9 case could be reopened? Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place in the police department that day. Things that have happened by chance can never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance? Gotta be more than just that. So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one. Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye.
Objection!
But wait, the verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial.
Objection!
Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. Seems to me, this boy's got the draw on you, partner. All the mysteries of the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye, and the testimony of one Miss Angel Star is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. I rest my case. Seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time. Just proving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera tape really was fake. I didn't realize I would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant. Hold it! Your Honor. Wait. Emma. Defense has an objection. Scientific objection. Right? What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? I guess? Your Honor, in a sense. Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking for is a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Darke killings? How she mentions it, names of both Skye sisters were in that file. That's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprints had nothing to do with the crime. I left only the one thing. The other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right? No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, sure to find a clue. So, ran over there and looked again. Did you find something? No. Huh? Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. Is that all? Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student. I'm just an attorney. But Mr. Wright, traces of blood are the only clue we have. We can't find something wrong with them. Please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Me? Oh boy. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I couldn't be more of use. But still, I can't find anything wrong with that blood mark. Lana will be... Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. Whenever I needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? Well, I mean, obviously we're going to be objecting. Objection! This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction. Namely, it was wearing gloves. Only thing that seems clear is you're grasping, Mr. Wright. You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there? Yes, something that, when drawn, would completely change the meaning of the blood mark. I just pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright. With all this evidence here, there's got to be something I can use. The question is, which item would prove something is missing from the floor plans? The thing that's been blocking our vision the whole time. What about that piece of plywood? The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force, defender of truth, guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. Blue Badger is not here. So watch what happens when you put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well, what? That's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot in the locker. What? So that means, just exactly what does that mean? It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker. Don't look at me, I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think through scientifically. Emma, that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. So that must mean this blood mark was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in? Just one moment. I will not be allowed such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom. They sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice. But how? One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, for which a trivial amount of blood fell. Problem is, the other time, someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been Detective Goodman, who, when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous! Refuse to accept your absurd claim. Murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, it doesn't explain the blood mark found in the locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, When did it take place? Demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred. When did the first incident occur? Summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekin's being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in the evidence room. That's right, the blood mark on the locker proves it. Very well, and tell us. When did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edgeworth said, proof must be presented. Proof shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that could show that. Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place? I'd imagine it would have to be here. Crime took place inside the evidence room. The killer would have had to enter it. In order to do so, an ID card would have been required. An ID card. Oh! The ID card record. Officer Meekins brought in the blue badger panel at the evidence room at, let's see here, 4:50 p.m. Crime took place before that time. It would be 4:40. Miles Edgeworth. So what have you done? Never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. Drop the act, witness. Doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me. No, I ain't getting it. I don't understand either. It's clear from the luminol test blood that was there. However, the second crime took place. Both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed not to notice the blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. It would have been just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Let's look at the chart again. There's only one other card that number remaining. 7 sevens. Talk about a lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 777777. Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 777777777777. That's 17 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. Oh, at least at present. What? Explain yourself, son. ID number belongs to someone with the rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire such person's identity. Objection! But that's ridiculous! Just how... I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation we can be granted such authority. An official charge is filed against an executive is accepted. An official charge? You're all alike, aren't you? Your cover-ups and your forgeries. It's how prosecutor office operates. Take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I'd appreciate if you'd keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask a question. Yes? No, not to you. To her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana. Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number. And it's not 77777. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing. About that incident. The SL9 incident. Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for the trial. At the time, occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did. Eh? Lana? I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. No, you're not being suppressed. Defendant, just what are you saying? I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look at me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye, and say you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't. I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. It's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lana, even if it involved forging evidence. See, that's what I'm talking about. No. No! Order, 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 order! Others remarked such a stir. The chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day. To be continued. Do, 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 do. The police are totally corrupt. Save your progress to this point? Yep. Day 3. Investigations. February 24th, 3:12 p.m. Wright and Company Law Offices. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said. Drastic crimes require drastic measures. It's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. I didn't know. I never knew that the SL9 incident was just another name for the Joe Darke killings. Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me. I don't want a Darke convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean, what happened to you? It's all there in the file. Joe Darke's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He murdered Officer Marshall's brother. Left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. What did you have to do with those killings, Emma? On the night Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Darke tried to kill me. What? Tried to kill you? Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me. So that means you... Yes, I was a witness in the Joe Darke trial. I didn't see that one coming. How you doing? Happened 2 years ago. I was right about this time of year, too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. Then suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office. Joe Darke. Seemed like he was running from someone, pulled out a knife and screamed at me. Didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Jake Marshall's brother. Joe Darke tried to take me hostage. Before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then, what happened? I'll never forget it. Lightning struck and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. I saw that burn a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now. Permanent picture. What happened after? I don't remember the moment when Darke stabbed Mr. Marshall. So you weren't able to testify about that? No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be why she made up the crime. Made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence? Prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. Lana forged the evidence and Mr. Edgeworth used it. Edgeworth? Yes, I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. Rumors about Mr. Edgeworth, I mean. It's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened. You gave a testimony to the best of your abilities as a 14-year-old in a murder trial? Yeah. So it's true, even though he may not have known it. Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence. After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold like she is today. Must not have been able to face up to what she did, especially not to Emma. So, tell me about what you saw? What did you see in the incident that crime occurred? Darke knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife. Neil Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl. I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. Poor Emma, you've been through so much. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that incident. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. 2 years ago, you must have been 14. That's understandable. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. Decided that when I grew up, I was going to become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies. Find the evidence to make an airtight case. That's why Lana would never have to forge any. I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime. We'll find out next time. Have a good one, folks.